Alright, 1900 hours on the 24th of the 3rd, 2020. I just want to talk about something that happened the other day that I'm not too proud of. I could have reacted a bit better, or I could have reacted in a way that I would have liked a bit more, but sadly I didn't. I acted in the default manner, which is, there's nothing wrong with it, of course. There's nothing wrong with the way people naturally react to a situation or an incident, but I don't know, I do remember times when I did have better control of how I reacted. So in this situation, we were at the gym. Well, gyms are closed now, but I was at the gym just a few days ago, and there was an altercation between this dude and two other fellas. We were all just working out, and then I just heard some guy say, "Could you get your ass out of my face?" And I was like, whoa, someone's angry. I turned around, and it was some big old Aussie dude who was doing bench press, and he was yelling at some young, I think they were Indian, some young Indian dude. And the young Indian dude was surprised because this Aussie dude was yelling at him. He was hissing it, and he was being rude. And then the Indian dude was a bit confused, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And then the Aussie guy went on to say, you get your ass out of my face, alright? And he kept being aggressive and was being very provocative with his voice, his tone, his manner, his expression. He was he was trying to get in his face, pointing his fingers. Obviously he was starting trouble. And because, he was probably the biggest dude and oldest dude there, he thought he was a hard cunt. And I was just right next to everything happening, so I was confused. I thought the guy was yelling at me first, but he was yelling at the Indian dude. And the Indian dude was a bit confused. He's like, "Oh, okay, my bad." And then the Aussie dude continued to be rude and malignant and started saying "Oh, you're dirty, blah blah blah. Where's your towel?" Because at the gym you're supposed to bring a towel or sweat towel there. The guy, the Indian dude, and his friend came along as well. They didn't have sweat towels with them, sadly. So the guy was saying, "Oh, look at you, you're dirty. Get your dirty ass out of my face." Blah blah blah. Things started getting more heated up because the Indian dude was just like, "Hey man, sorry, but why do you have to be so aggressive?" And they were complaining because this guy was being a dickhead. Well, the gym management came along and tried to settle things down. And sadly, what I saw with the gym management is they saw a English spoken man complaining about two ethnics who didn't speak English very well and sadly didn't have their gym towels with them. So at first glance of the situation, those two Indian dudes seemed like they were in the wrong, which in a sense, with the rules of having a towel, they were wrong. But in the truth of the situation, they weren't wrong, because this guy was being aggressive and he was starting trouble with these dudes. He could have just been more polite about it, or at least more calm, just say, "Hey man, could you just move aside and not get so close to me?" Because the guys, I saw the positioning of everything. The Indian dude was not in the dude's face. He just happened to be a bit close. And I think this dude was a bit racist. He just didn't want to be close to a few ethnics. I don't know, I got this kind of idea. You could sense it. Because, the bench press that the angry dude was on, there was, at least 2 meters away from the bench that the younger dude was on. So, he couldn't have been fully in his face or anything. Maybe a bit close for comfort if, you have a problem with a certain types of people, but not for general spacing. Either way, those details don't matter. The guy was being aggressive and was being a dickhead. And since I was close to the situation, I didn't want things to get heated up, because this is a venue that I attend. I want peace and quiet where I exercise. And I'm disappointed in the way I reacted, because I stood, everyone else was minding their own business while it was happening, but I stood there just to make sure things didn't go too far. If they started fighting, I was going to break them up. I wanted to be there to at least control the situation. In my heart, I knew that I wanted to I knew I wanted to tell this guy, hey, you should calm down and stop being such an asshole. Like, fair enough that these two don't have a towel, but you're being a complete asshole right now. Because the problem is not the fact they had a towel or not. It's the fact that you are being discriminatory towards a couple of people who don't share the same race as you, nor do they speak your first language as well as you. The management was there, so it was trying to calm everything down, and sadly the management was telling these guys, hey, you guys just need to leave it and walk away, even though they did nothing wrong except for not having a towel. And this aggressive guy was acting like he was right, and like, yeah, look at them, look at these dirty, you're dirty, you don't have a towel, you're dirty. He kept saying you're dirty. The Indian dudes got fed up with it and said, hey, you're discriminating against us. And then the Aussie dude had the nerve to say, I'm being discriminatory? How? And then the Indian dude says, because you call us dirty, you're trying to be racist to us. Which is, it's not clear, but there's a lot of things implied with that, because sadly I think these ethnic dudes, they do get abused and treated as such. They get presumed of being dirty and all that, which is sad. It's a sad piece of discrimination. But yeah, when they started accusing this guy of being discriminatory, he was like, I'm not being discriminatory, I'm saying you're dirty. And you know why? Because you didn't have a towel. This Aussie dude was sad. When he said that, oh, I'm not being discriminatory, I'm just saying you're dirty, and you know why? Because you have a towel. That is a sad, underhanded pick on semantics. Honestly, he's trying to play with words and the meaning of the words, what he meant, even though it was clear as hell what he was insinuating, and that was the fact that he did not like a certain type of people, and he regarded a certain types of people as dirty and ugly and not of his standards. That's clearly what he was insinuating. You don't need to be an expert to read that. A child will be able to read that. A grown, educated adult man, woman, anything, the smartest person in the world will easily pick that up. And this guy had the nerve to start playing on words like, oh, I didn't say that, I was saying you're dirty because you don't have a towel. Don't get all smart like that, you racist cunt. He was sad racist. And the sad thing is the management was playing with that, playing by the book. So the thing the reason why I'm disappointed in myself is, in this situation, I should have stood up and I should have just told this aggressive, racist dude, hey, you need to calm down, and I think you should leave. Because sadly, the management was telling the two Indian dudes to leave. Well, they had a fair point there because they didn't have a gym towel. But that's not reason enough for this guy to be aggressive and, act the way he wanted. Because the whole time after, I was angry at myself, and I was so angry at that dude that while he was bench pressing, I wanted to fucking kick his face in. I wanted to kick his leg so he drops the bar on his head. I want to kill this guy. Because if I have to live with that sort of person at the gym that I go to, it's actually very lucky that the gym is closed right now, because if I have to see this guy at the gym next time and he treats someone else like that, I don't know how I'm going to react. Now, to talk about why I reacted the way I was, just calm and not getting too involved but still trying to be there, I think the problems I'm facing right now is trying not to get involved in situations that don't concern me or that aren't my own, which is fair enough. A lot of people out there, are successful. I don't want to say successful, that's the wrong word. Let's just say materially successful people. They'll tell you the same thing. Hey, don't get involved with other people's problems. Fair enough, because it's a waste of time. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. It's not worth you risking something for it, which I definitely understand. But to me, in heart, that doesn't give me spiritual wealth. I don't feel good in myself letting things like this slide. And sadly, that's what I did. That's why I don't feel good about myself. I'm trying to figure out why I did it, because usually I would stand up and I would take action. But I noticed something in myself nowadays that I haven't been taking action lately. And I think it's got to do with me trying to be a more civilized, how do I say this? A more quiet person. Me trying to just develop the material things in my life. Me trying to be more quiet. I don't know. It's just lately I haven't been trying to, how do I say this? I haven't been involving myself in a lot of things. Like, I've been trying to avoid a lot of things nowadays. Well, lately. And I think it's been reflecting who I am as a person in a way that I'm not too happy with. I thought I could live a more quieter, simpler life and still stand up for the oppressed. But what I saw in myself yesterday was I didn't really take that stand for the oppressed. I know what everyone says, hey, you don't have to worry about other people and all that. You know, you just worry about yourself, do your own things. But I don't know, I'm used to being the person that wants to stand for the oppressed people. Because when I was young and I was bullied and oppressed, I always wished that someone would help me and support me during those times. There were certain times where people did support and help me, and you know, to me they're my heroes. Till this day, like, they're still my heroes when they stood up for me when they didn't have to. And I've always wanted to be just like those kind of people. Sadly, that day at the gym I wasn't, and I feel really bad in myself. I feel ashamed of myself because I should have been. I usually stand up for the oppressed when I can. But I don't know, something in me lately is like, it's the things that life's been trying to get me to concentrate on has made me weak. It's made me more selfish. It's made me not put myself out there for strangers. Which is fair enough, because, you know, people, they should look after themselves and not worry about anyone else. Put yourself first. I get that. I know that. That's the typical formula for a nice, successful life. But I don't know. I feel like what I want with life is a bit different. Maybe it doesn't have to be that successful, but I just want to know that I'm the type of person that gives others hope. I guess the problem with me is finding that balance. And nowadays that I've been trying to establish that balance, it's been really weakening my old character. The old character who used to stand up for others. I'm hoping next time a situation like this happens, I put myself in front of the bully and I at least stand next time. Because, I don't know, I feel like nowadays we all need to support each other, especially against the aggressive, against the oppressive. We should all be helping each other, not being discriminatory and underhandedly racist, playing by the book just to bite at people. That's what sad people do, you know, like they find all the rules and they find the underhand way that they can attack you and still be protected by a system. That's what I like to stand up against. And sadly, I didn't do it that day. I need to keep my mind open that situations like that still happen, and that situations like that need people like the person that I want to be to stand up and, you know, stand for the oppressed. Let's hope that the next time it happens, I find the strength to armor me and armor others. Signing out.